Hello, I'm Archbishop Christopher Coyne, and this is Coffee with the Archbishop. And joining me once again for our second segment is Superintendent Val Mara.
Thank you,
Superintendent
Archbishop.
of Schools of the Archdiocese of Hartford. And we already know that she takes her coffee black and very, very hot all
Has to
year
be hot,
round.
all year
Has to be
round.
hot. Can't be cold. And so, hey, listen, a lot of people come to this thing and they don't drink coffee.
I
So I don't know
understand
we've
that.
been talking
I don't
about
understand
this.
that.
I don't know whether we should
I
just
don't
call
understand
it
that.
refreshment with the Archbishop.
Tea
or,
doesn't do it for me. I know. Yeah, it's got to be coffee.
Don't drink tea. Okay. So this morning, as we're
Yes.
taping this, we had great news for the Archdiocese of Hartford, specifically for the city of Hartford, because we announced the process of bringing back a Catholic school to Hartford. We haven't had a Catholic school in Hartford since 2016 when St.
Yes,
Augustine's
that's
closed.
right.
And then the other thing that was even sadder was when St. Augustine's closed in 2016, many of the children could go to West Hartford.
Or Newington, and they both closed.
They both closed.
Within
like a year or two.
It broke many hearts.
No, it's just
broke many hearts.
So that ain't gonna happen, folks.
No.
So, but there's our new school logo,
There
Catholic
it is.
Academy of Hartford,
See the heart?
and we announced this because a building has been bought next to the cathedral, and and the property's adjacent to the cathedral downtown.
beautiful.
It's in Asylum Hill neighborhood, which is an
Yes.
up and coming neighborhood.
Yes.
Here's another reason to move into that neighborhood if
That's
you're a
right.
family, because you're going to have a good Catholic school there.
Yes.
And also working with with Hartford right across the street.
Yes.
And Hartford Insurance and others around us.
Yes.
Maybe they'll let us use this. They'll end up let the kids play on it. Although it's a very nice lawn.
It's a very nice. They may have one.
That means
We'll
we also
find
have
other
to,
space.
We have to cross that
Yes.
street. So my hope, and
Yes.
I think we can do it because the building's very well suited for us to, at this point, we think, to retrofit it for a school. We're hoping that a year from around now, so September 2026,
Yes.
that we would open on our first kind of phasing up level of classes.
Yes.
So
Start by forming them
okay,
when
first of
they're
all,
young.
want the people to know that the school was going to be pretty much focused on children from Hartford,
Yes.
but they don't have to be Catholic. Of course we want Catholic kids, but any family that wants to send a kid to our school and they understand it's a Catholic school and they
Absolutely.
accept that it's a Catholic school.
Part of our Catholicity is that we welcome all children of God, right? Regardless of faith, race, creed, ethnicity, our doors are open. We want to welcome Hartford students originally and initially perhaps because they will be able to be bused. Now we know the pre-K babies can't go on a bus, but K and up will have free busing. They'll be able to take a bus to come to school. And I think that is a tremendous gift for the parents who don't have to drive their children in. Of course, they're still welcome to do that. So we want to always start with the early years so we can start to form them with the education that we have. Remember, even in the 3 and 4-year-olds, the 5-year-olds, the 6-year-olds, there is no content that we teach that is completely secular. They learn reading, writing, mathematics, numeracy, all of those different pieces, but there is always a connection to our Catholic social teachings. Why are we learning this? How are we building up the common good? How are we learning to be leaders, even at young ages? That's so important. And for a child to know that they're a child of God, that every day is a chance to begin again, that every day they know that they come from greatness and greatness will come to them, that's what makes the learning rich.
You know what's interesting is that we're not inventing something new here.
No.
This is very ancient. When you go back to the ancient Greek cities and you study their understanding of education and formation, there was a Greek word, I think it was called paideia. And it was not just, it was all about the whole human person. So it was about physical fitness. It was about moral and ethical behavior. It was about education. It was about making them good citizens. And it was very much, caught up in the secular reality of the Greek society.
Wow.
But the Greek society, in many ways, and the great philosophers always talked about this, they were trying to form someone. They didn't just worry about the head or
Right.
the brain. They worried about the whole having them become good citizens of the Greek states. And I think one of the things that we put forward is in our schools, especially in schools in the inner city, where most of our schools some of our schools in the inner city are less than 50% Catholic. And when I was in Indianapolis, there were 2 schools that were less than 90, where 90% of the kids weren't Catholic.
We're not Catholic.
We're not Catholic.
Wow.
And we saw that as a social justice work.
Yes.
And work and lifting up these children. And giving
That's
them,
right.
And the reality is that informing these children to be part of, to grow them in this way, we form them to be good citizens of
Yes.
the United States, kind citizens of the United States. And also form them with some kind of religious upbringing, spirituality.
I think that is a beautiful connection to our origins. When we talk about Greek philosophers who knew even back then that the best way to educate a child is the whole child, which is what you're saying. If you start with the head, you miss the heart altogether. You have to start with the heart to reach the head. But to understand that a child needs to be formed body, mind, spirit, socially, emotionally, imaginatively, they need to build their imagination. That's incredibly powerful. And that's what we do. We teach them how to look for the excellence in themselves and the excellence in one another. And when we ask them to do that, it really comes from divine love because they are a child of God. As such, there isn't any part of them that we're not going to educate. It is the whole child, and all together, especially with the spiritual piece of it, I truly believe that that's why our children meet with such success, such high academic achievement.
Right, and also just two other things. One's going to seem kind of simple, but I think the idea of of having uniforms is so important.
Yes.
Because it gives them a sense immediately of belonging to something.
Yes.
They belong, and there's none of this like, I'm dressing better than you, or there's none of this
right.
other things that can get in the way. But I think the uniform it solves a lot of problems, but it also says this is you have this thing, you belong.
You
It's
belong
like
to
you're
yes.
wearing a uniform.
They all want to feel like they belong, right? Belong to something bigger, greater than themselves, part of a whole, part of a community. It also reinforces that their identity is not defined by what they wear, but the choices that they make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second is thoughtfulness. I think one of the things that we bring is, we pray, but we also, because we have children who don't share our faith in anything,
That's right.
we also encourage moments of quiet
Yes.
and reflection.
Yes.
So, because that's not what our children encounter in the vast majority of any of us encounter.
Yeah.
Learning to be still. You bring them over to Mass 10 minutes before Mass starts, and they have to be still. And the other thing that's great is when the little ones are brought over, because we don't bring the pre-K and the little ones over to church.
Not
'Cause
right
they
away
can't see.
anyway. They can't.
They're down. They stand up and they're looking right into the bench in front of them. That's the first problem. So it's just not fair to them unless we have them sit down in front. Then that's not fair to me, the priest. But when the kindergarten kids come in and the first graders come in, they're almost always have a buddy system.
They have a buddy system.
They have an 8th grader
They're
or a
with another
7th
one,
grader or a
right.
6th grader who
That's
is
right.
their buddy.
That's right.
Who sits with them.
Yes.
Gets them in there safely.
Yes.
Sits with them.
Yes.
And helps
Hopefully
them follow the
models
Mass.
how to follow the Mass, how to sit reverently.
Especially if they're not Catholic and they don't know what's
Yes,
going on.
yes,
And all
yes.
that. And they all come up for the blessings. And all that.
And they love that. And they love the person who is their buddy. Because throughout the day in school, they look to them. And let me tell you, for the older child, it's a wonderful opportunity to be a leader and to step up. For those students that sometimes make decisions they ought not to make, and you bring them in, you say, I really need you to work with this 3 or 4-year-old or 5-year-old, they just step up. Now they know that they have to live up to a certain expectation because this small child is looking at them. It brings out the best in them.
One last thing about our
Okay.
new Catholic school is
Okay.
we are going to make it tuition accessible. So
That's a good way of saying it.
basically, no family will we won't be able to come because they can't pay.
Right.
So we'll have a sliding scale. You pay what you can.
That's right.
And so if somebody can pay full tuition, they pay full tuition.
Yes.
If they can't do that because they don't have the money, we take care of them.
Right. You've said that they won't be denied a Catholic education because tuition prohibits it. That's not what we want. It's not who we are as Catholics.
No, and that's pretty much true in most of
Yes.
our schools.
That's true. In most of our schools, there is tuition assistance available. We don't ever want a family to not choose a Catholic education if that's what they want for their child because they can't afford it.
And the last thing as we wrap up, One of the kind of myths about Catholic schools is that it's a middle class. It's not something that's designed for poorer people because they can't afford it. Our schools flourish for those reasons. Our schools reflect the culture in the town in which they live. So when I was down in New Haven at All Saints,
it's
almost all the
beautiful.
children were Latinos.
Yeah, they were beautiful.
And then when you go to Torrington, it's a mixed, diverse group there. You know,
Yes.
they reflect, and I think our new school is going to reflect that as well. It's
hope
going
so.
to reflect the neighborhood of
Yes.
Asylum Hill, the people of Hartford,
yeah.
and we're going to walk with them and be with them in our new Catholic school.
We're
I'm so
accompanying
excited.
I'm so excited. Every time we talk about it, it just lifts me up.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to you. I'm not just saying it because you're giving me a cup of coffee. That's hot, but incredibly grateful to you. And you know what is amazing is that in whatever group we are with, whether it's our high schools or our elementary schools or parents, when we say we're opening a school in Hartford, they are applauding. They are standing and applauding. So thank you for recognizing that need and for making good on
That's
your
good.
promise.
Yeah,
Making
well,
good on your
let's
promise.
we'll get it rolling.
Yeah, we will.
Well, thank you for watching us. I'm Archbishop Coyne, and you've been watching Coffee with the Archbishop.